I'm Ann Marinovich. I'm Chief Content Officer at Adweek. And so in that role, I oversee everything content at Adweek. So that includes editorial, events, social, video, podcasts, as well as our branded content division as well. So oversee all of that from both a overarching strategy as well as execution standpoint. But I've been working in content marketing for a very, very long time, really, though, like most significantly for the last probably 12, 13 years. Prior to being at Adweek, I spent many years at Forbes and was very involved in the launch of their content marketing platform called Brand Voice, and was oversaw that business as the kind of general manager of Brand Voice for many years, in the very early days of what content marketing is known as today. I think the origins of content marketing exists back, to the very early days of actually newspapers and magazines. But I think, this kind of iteration and this generation of content marketing has, I would say, really been around for the last kind of 12, 13 years. And so I've had the great fortune to be at the forefront and an early witness of what content marketing is in today's world. I think, content strategy is a really interesting and not easy task. My job, I've been at Adweek for a year this month. And when I got to Adweek, was tasked to really look at, and not just for our branded content, but for all of our content across our entire company, which includes editorial, create a new content strategy for the entire company. And that was really interesting, diving into Adweek is a 43-year-old company. And so, which is very different when you're starting off and you're a startup and you're just figuring out what your content strategy should be. We had a lot of legacy, previous content strategies, previous things that Adweek has been known for. And so really what we had to look at was kind of the overall landscape, really starting with and reevaluating what our mission as a company was before even getting to like what the content strategy was. We had to really align as a company around what our mission and why Adweek exists. And so we came up with, in that process, a new mission that we rolled out last year, which is we inspire, connect, and guide the global marketing community to navigate the future. And really then from there, cascading kind of looking at a lot of data and analytics to understand what kind of content was really resonating. I mean, some of the analytics that I really look at really closely that I think are some of kind of the core metrics are return visitors. I think, it's really easy, our industry, particularly the digital media industry, was so focused on scale for so long. And I think even in the early days of content marketing, everyone thought that like the best metric was the number of page views that you had. But it really doesn't matter how many people read your content if it's not the people who are your core target consumer. And if they're never going to be, in market to buy your product, they probably, it doesn't actually matter if they're reading your content. So I think really making sure that your content's resonating with your target audience, and then how are they engaging with it? Time spent. How much are they, how are they sharing that content? Are they sharing it with their community? And then one of my favorite metrics, or two of my favorite metrics, are actually scroll depth and scroll velocity, and really understanding how deep into an article someone is reading, as well as how fast they're reading. And so really thinking about that from an engagement standpoint. And I think that the key kind of learning that I went through last year in working with my team at Adweek to come up with what is now our content strategy, is I think first and foremost, you always have to remember who your target audience is. And you could have lots, I think, as companies scale, you could have lots of different audiences. And you have your secondary and your, tertiary audiences, but you have to first and foremost focus on who your primary consumer is, and be a critical resource for them, and provide content that's really going to resonate with them first before you can start adding existing targets to that. I think there's so many different, to your point, there's so many different formats of content. And there is obviously a lot of interest in shorter form content. I mean, it is what people, because of social media, people like, if you're on your phone and you're on a social platform, it's how you want to consume content. You want kind of fast snippets. But I think also understanding media consumption patterns and habits, and understanding how to serve your community different types of content in different places. So recognizing that a piece of content that might do really, really well on social, and shorter, more visual, maybe video, and how and where that lives, and the point and purpose and why you're using that piece of content. We're actually seeing really strong engagement metrics around some longer format content as well that we're publishing on our website, that is much more leaning in towards really practical insights. It's a new form of content that we've recently rolled out from an editorial standpoint at Adweek, and we built out a new team within our editorial department that's really focused on creating content that is really valuable in the sense of providing marketers with more evergreen content. So we still have our news business that is what Adweek is known for, and we cover the news of the industry, which is the what content, like what happened. And now we've introduced this content called Practical Insights that really gets into the why and the how. And it's deeper, and it's providing, I think, answering to a white space in the market that we were hearing, that marketers wanted more content that was going to help make them, give them tools and insights to help them drive their business forward, make them smarter in their jobs. And so what we're seeing with that content is it tends to be a little bit longer, but that people are engaging with it, and it has extremely high engagement rates, extremely high time spent. And so it's kind of interesting. There's this perception that everyone wants shorter content. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. It's just making sure that you're delivering the right content to the right audience in the right place. Our target audience are marketing decision makers. The type of content formats that they want is going to be very different than if you are a D2C brand trying to reach a mass audience of consumers to sell, a consumer product. And that's going to have obviously a very different strategy than what our strategy is at Adweek. I really think for us, it's about having, we have an unbelievably talented editorial department, and branded content team. And I think it's having that expertise at that level to be able to, we have expert contributors that publish on Adweek, right? We bring in outside voices from our community who publish thought leadership content on our site. It's a platform called Voice. And we have editors who work with each of those contributors. They vet them. It's an invitation only opportunity. We get lots of pitches and see lots of first drafts that never make it to our site because it's not right for our audience. And so I think it comes to, again, I keep going back to understanding your audience and having the right talent within your company from an editorial standpoint, to be able to work through, who are those voices? Is this a perspective and a point of view that is differentiated, that people are going to resonate with? Because you're right. I mean, I think everyone today, which isn't a bad thing, like everyone today has the opportunity to be a thought leader. I think getting ready next week, we have social media week next week, and we're getting ready for social media week. So I've been thinking a lot about creators and influencers, and we are all influencers. Every single person in this world is influential to our family, to our friends. And so I think everyone has the ability to be a thought leader. It's just a matter of in what context and what is the message.